All right, welcome to the 2024 Tamarack Ottawa Race Weekend presented by Tamarack. We are about to get going with the women's 10K. I am Reed Coolset, 2016 and 2012 Olympian, and I am here with Donna Mader, and we are going to take you through the 10K tonight. We have the women starting 15 minutes ahead of the men. We're going to get you going on the lineup here. We have great conditions this year, Donna. This race has been known to have quite hot temperatures the last few years, and right now we're looking at 18 degrees Celsius, which is quite nice. And there's a little light rain. There was a light rain when we came over here to the studio, but nothing really to speak about. So nice not being in the blaring sun, and we could expect fast times this year within the Athletics Canada 10K Champs. So this is a national championship. The women here are mainly going to be going for place, but to have the possibility of fast times makes it a little bit more exciting. All right, we're going to take you through a quick view of the course tonight. It's quite a fast course, actually. It starts downtown, right in the heart of Ottawa, and you quick turn off the start, but then you go along Elgin Street, and then you just run along the canal, right? So you know it's super flat. And then when you get to the 5K turnaround, that is when you have to go over the bridge. So there's an overpass. You go up, you come back down, and then once again it's flat. It's a little quiet out when you get to about the 5K mark, but as you approach downtown again, the crowds just pick up, and pick up. Same with the start. When the start goes, you're right on Elgin. There's a whole bunch of bars and restaurants. This race is a lot of fun. That, like I said, like that turn comes 100 meters or so into the race, so it's a little frantic off the start line to get going and make that left-hand turn, but it settles in quickly, and it's a nice fast course. So you see the top women here. We have Natasha Wodak. Actually, Donna will go over some of the stats here for our top women.
Oh, for sure. Natasha has a PB of 31:59. She set that here in Ottawa in 2015, and she also won this race the last 2 years, so we'll see if she can do a three-peat. She's a two-time Olympian, 2016 Rio and 2021 Tokyo, and she is the Canadian women's marathon record holder with a 2:23:12. Next, we have Melindy Elmore. She has a 10K PB of 32:44, marathon PB of 2:23:30. She is heading to the Paris Olympics as Canada's only female marathoner, and she's already a two-time Olympian at 2004 in Athens in the 1500 and 2021 in the Tokyo for the marathon.
Yeah, so our top two athletes, Melindy and Natasha, interestingly enough, are also Masters athletes. So good luck to the rest of the Masters trying to be the top master when the top two women in the race are the Masters. So as well in this race, we have 1 minute to the start. Carolyn Pomerleau, she finished third here last year, a big result, and she backed that up in Toronto at the Canadian Marathon Championships, winning the Canadian Marathon Championships on a windy day in 2:34. We also have Cleo Boyd, who has already run 15:44 this year for 5K, so she might be looking to PB. Her PB is 33:21. As well as Elia Brody. So Elia just won earlier this month the Canadian 10,000 meter championships on the track. She is, interestingly enough, is coached by Melindy Elmore. So we have a coach versus athlete race out here. And we have 15 seconds to the start. So we're just going to cue it up here. The racers are very focused. They're listening to the final race announcements here, their final instructions. You have the masses behind, including the elite men, that will start 15 minutes later. So here we go, we're off. This is just the elite women section of the Athletics Canada 10K Championships. So it's really cool to have the 10K Canadian Championships held within a larger race. There's a lot more fans out there. A lot of the people on the street, you can see the fans are racing the half marathon or the marathon the next day. Of course, there's lots of other residents and friends and families and all that, but it's a huge race weekend. Thousands of people. It's the biggest race weekend in Canada that we have. So it's a very, very electric atmosphere.
And we can see Melindy's out front there with her athlete right behind her on her shoulder.
Yeah, we have Cleo Boyd in the hat, Alaya with the blue top, Melindy in the white.
With the orange hat.
With the orange hat. And
Natasha to her
has the black uniform with the black hat. Salome is also up there. And Carolyn Pomelo hanging on there as well with the Hoka kit. She's kind of behind Alaya and Cleo Boyd. We're going to try to get you splits along the way. If we see some kilometer markers, we have obviously the time on the screen. And we also have the Run Ottawa app. So if you want to track these runners or friends or family who are running this race and this weekend, check out the Run Ottawa app and follow your the participants that you want. Steph Ryle, you can see red hair in the screen. She's from Hamilton. She's up there right now in the top 6 or 7. Same with McKenna. She's also hanging on tough right behind Cleo Boyd. So McKenna Fitzgerald, she has a 34:15 personal best. So most of the other women up there, you know, Salome and Alaya, Cleo, Carolyn, they're all 33. With Melindy and Natasha, you know, 32, 31. And Lanny Marchand is also in the picture there. You can kind of see her popping out with the white sunglasses. She's a 2016 Olympian at the marathon and the 10,000 meters. So she's getting back into racing this year after not racing for a little bit. We can see Melindy is already, she's already hammering the...
She's taking charge.
Yeah.
And we have one athlete with her.
Yeah, so Salome Rwandan, who has been living in Canada for quite a few years now, is taking on the challenge that Melindy is putting out. She's, you know, already announced to the Canadian Olympic team this year for Paris in the marathon. She is using this race as a tune-up. You know, good opportunity to race, test fitness, and just to break up the marathon training that's going to be coming up.
With a solid second pack there.
Yeah, we have a big second pack right now. Looks like Natasha is happy to sit back. She's won this race the last 2 years, and she's often been the one to push the pace. But she's coming off the Hamburg Marathon just last month, just about a month ago, where she missed the Olympic standard in the marathon. So, you know, she had 2 marathons already this year. She's an athlete that's capable of hitting the marathon standard, but with a little hamstring niggle in January, and then a quick build-up. You know, it was tough for her to do that. So she's using this race to just kind of like forget about the Olympics, get back into a national championship, have some fun, and not dwell on her last race. So she's happy to just sit in that pack and looks like right now vie for a podium, or, you know, probably in her mind and the rest of that second pack hope that 1 or 2 of these athletes have gone up too fast and we'll come back to them later in the race.
So Reed, you've had some success on this course a few years back, and you're coaching an athlete that's out there racing. Anything you would change from your racing days?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing I would change, and they have it tonight, is the weather. The last time I ran this race, it was really hot. I think they actually delayed it 30 minutes, and they had sprinklers on the course. You were throwing water on your head. Tonight is much nicer with a little bit of drizzle, cloud cover, and 18 degrees. It's actually quite nice to race a 10K.
Right. And it's a fast 10K. The course looks fast.
Yes,
There's only that one hill on the 5K mark, and then right after that, it's a fast 2K heading back into town.
Yeah, it's a very fast course. The course records are quite fast. You know, Mo Ahmed and Cam Levins tried to run the Canadian record here last year, but of course it was another one of those hot years, so they didn't quite get it. But you know, this year, you know, it is a year to run fast. We don't have the international field like we did in past years to maybe have a few more athletes up there. You know, Melindy potentially could be running with a slew of Ethiopians and Kenyans if this field was a full field. But being the Canadian Championships, it's almost better that it's not influenced by by racers from other countries who, sometimes somebody might get an advantage than somebody else just depending on the pace you end up running. So this is really much a Canadian field vying for those Canadian places. There is prize money in the field. Donna, do you want to let everyone know how the prize money pays?
For sure. There's the prize purse goes to the top 10. The top 3 get first place is $5,000, second is $3,000, and third is $2,000. And there's also a Canadian record bonus of $1,000. The male record is 28:11, set in 2022 by Ben Flanagan, who's also racing here tonight. And the female record is 31:44, set back in 1989 by Lynn Williams.
Yeah, so Lynn Williams set that mark quite a while ago. She was Natasha's coach for a bit and still helps Natasha out in workouts. A very great, big supporter of many runners in the Vancouver area. And that men's record is actually co-held right now by Cam Levins. Cam, just at a recent ASICS event in the last month, also ran 28:11. So Ben and Cam both hold the Canadian record for the 10K on the roads at 28:11. I actually have, I'll toot my own horn here for a second. I've run faster, but it was on a downhill course. So my 28:08 from Sporting Life does not count, but I'm holding on to that for dear life. I thought Mohamed would beat that last year, and I wouldn't have that.
We'll allow you to hang on to that one.
Random stat. So maybe Ben Flanagan will erase that mark, and I can not have to spew that random stat anymore. But Melindy looks quite comfortable here. She, like I said, she's training for the Paris Olympics. This is going to be a race to just get out here, be competitive, race a national championship. She'll know where her fitness is at after racing a 10K, right? Like, you can train as much as you want, but until you race, you never really know exactly how your fitness is going to play out. So this will be a really good benchmark for her going into a very important Paris Olympic marathon build.
Reed, I'm getting some live splits here. The first K was 3:17. The 2K was 3:10.
Right, so
they're picking up the pace.
Yeah, Melindy's going for it.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm going to log on to the live tracking as well on the Run Ottawa app. I'm tracking most of the top runners here, so I can hopefully can give you like a 5K split. That's always a good one. Let you know how they're doing halfway through into this race. See if they're going to positive split, negative split. It looks like from our vantage point that second pack is still quite full and running together. It looks like they're probably working together. At this point, it's advantageous if they do decide to work together.
And it looks like there's more of a gap between first and second.
Yeah, Salome is falling off she's definitely falling off the pace, or Melindy is just, maybe Salome's running the same pace as they were when they broke off, but maybe Melindy's pushing it a little bit more. But it looks like a very fast pace. Just the fact that we're not even 3K into this race and it's quite spread out. Actually, it looks like that second pack is breaking up.
It's starting to string out.
Yeah, I think that might be. It looks like Lanny, maybe Carolyn Pomerleau, and Cleo Boyd, who are sitting in third, fourth, and fifth. So this is a very scenic course. It's really nice. It does get quieter the further you get out from downtown Ottawa. Elegant Street is just packed, and then the last 2K will be quite noisy, but as you get further out, it just becomes a little bit quieter. You have a little more time to think about things. You really start looking forward to that turnaround, getting over that hill. Once you get over that hill, it's really nice because there's not another significant hill for the rest of the course, the last 5K. And there's packs of people, of course, along the course. So this is like a residential area, so you have people come out, making some noise. cheering on the athletes. The
3K split, well, the time is 9:36. So Melindy just ran a 3:11.
Okay, so yeah,
So the last-
Melindy is still hammering here.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're looking at this race without those stats, it's quite obvious with the gap she has over. You know, you're looking at the 2024 Canadian 10,000 meter champion in there. Natasha Wodak has won this race the last 2 years, so it's a very, very talented field, and the gap is quite big. The road here is quite curvy, so there's tangents that need to be paid attention to if you want to make sure you run 10K and not an extra 200 or 300 meters. We're gonna queue up the men's race here. We have another strong field here in the race, punctuated again by 2 Olympians up front. Although Bran, you know, has not been officially named to the team, he ran 13:04 indoors this year, so he's going to be on the Olympic team to Paris in the 5K. Maybe looking to make it in the 10K as well. He's quite close, but the 5K right now is his ticket. He's also has a really fast half marathon. He, you know, 28:11 is the Canadian record. His PB, like I said, it's co-held with Cam Levins. And then Rory has been named to the 2024 Paris Olympic team as well in the marathon. So Rory ran 2:08:01. He is the second fastest marathoner in Canadian history. He's coming off that race earlier this year in Seville. So that race was a bit earlier. It was in February. He's had time to recover and build up. So I expect Rory to be in very good shape as well. Ben, obviously, in the middle of track season, is going to be very sharp. He's going to be very hard to beat. Jeremy Kugler, he has the 4th fastest seed time. We'll get to the 3rd fastest in a second. So Jeremy's been competing really well. He was on the podium, very close to winning the Canadian 10,000 meter championships. He was 3rd place. Rory was 2nd. Andrew Alexander was 1st, also on May 11th there. And then we got Dylan Alec with a 29:49 personal best. He's been running well this year. He just won the Vancouver half marathon a couple weeks ago. And we got Dylan Wykes, a 2012 Olympian in the marathon. His personal best is 28:57. He is a master now, so he's 40 years old. Blair Morgan, if you're looking at the screen, is not 40. Those 2 ages, I think, just got switched. Blair, I think he was a top Canadian here last year. He ran 2:19 at the Ottawa Marathon on a hot day, so he's a marathoner, 5K runner. So his 10Ks is going to be a strong event for Blair. Dylan, thankfully, as a master, Dylan doesn't have to go up against the 2 top seeds being masters. His run for the top master here will be against the likes of Daniel Blouin, who is a good runner in his own right, but you know, not someone who's going to the Olympics like Melindy and Natasha, you know, have gone recent Olympics. So Dylan's going to be looking for that top master spot here. And we have 45 seconds now to the start of the men's race. There is not a gender neutral challenge this year, as there has been in past years. If that was the case, the women and the men usually start maybe about I think around 5 minutes apart, 6 minutes apart, not 15. So it's just 2 different races. So we see Dylan Alec there with the black singlet, Jeremy Kugler with the Western gray top. We got Rory in the orange and yellow Puma singlet. Ben Flanagan is in the on singlet with the green with a little white top. And Ben's real low, getting ready for a 4. He's not that short. He's just real low right now. So there we go.
There they go.
6:30, 15 minutes after the women start. The men are off, and it's a frantic start. We have also all of the masses right behind them. So this is the start of the Ottawa 10K presented by Otto's Ottawa as a part of the Athletics Canada 10K Championship. So it's sort of like 2 races in one, but yeah, thousands of people are behind these elite men. You can see we got Jeremy, Rory, Ben all up front, Blair Morgan in there, white cap on backwards, black top. We have another runner from the Ottawa Lions leading right now.
I also just want to mention we had a 4K split from Melindy. It was a 3:15 kilometer. She's out there solo running.
Yeah, Melindy's continuing to attack a blistering pace here. Solo, the gap is getting further. From what I can see, Salome is no longer in second. It's almost hard to see who is in second place. I believe that she might actually be going over the 5K split right there, or it might just be a turnaround timing that. But the men are off. Also looks quite fast as it's strung out very quickly. We got Ben Flanagan, Rory Linkletter. We'll have to get another name on the Ottawa Lions athlete, and Jeremy Kugler, who was, like I said, third place at the recent Canadian 10,000 meter championships. So Melindy's kind of looking over her shoulder as she goes around the corner. That's a great time to see who's behind you. You don't have to, turn your head 180 degrees when you're coming around a corner. And this is the downhill. So there's one significant uphill, one significant downhill. It's the overpass to get from one side of the canal to the other. And she's going to use this downhill to regain the momentum that you often lose coming up that hill and just get right back on pace. You can see, I can't say for sure, but because of the white hat, I believe it might be Cleo Boyd in second place. It could be McKenna Fitzgerald.
We really can't see it.
Yeah, we'll have to get some splits on there. Hopefully, we might have a 5K leaderboard split, but rest assured, Melindy is going for a fast time.
And we do have a 5K split.
Pretty much dialing herself.
3:13.
Okay, so another 3:13 split. So a lot of splits between 3:11 and 3:15 for Melindy here.
And the men's 1K split just came in at 2:57.
2:57. Okay, so we're a little bit under 30-minute pace, not as fast as I thought it might be, given that Ben has run 28:11. But he is in the middle of a track season. He knows he probably has the best speed when he's a 13:04 guy and he's racing a marathoner and some guys that are doing a lot more road races. He's probably happy to conserve as much energy as he can today and leave it to a kick. He's actually run quite a fast mile time and even an indoor K maybe last season. So he's got the leg speed. He's done really well in road races too. He's won the Falmouth road race a couple times. That is a very competitive race in eastern U.S. in August. So quite famously had some good finish line celebrations there. So maybe we'll see something from him today if he's able to pull off the win over Rory, who's even though he's slated for the Olympics, has not won a Canadian championship, and he's made it known that he really wants to be a Canadian champion one of these days. And he missed it by less than a second a few weeks ago at the Canadian 10,000 meter championships, and he's come back today for that purpose to finally win a Canadian championship. So he's super motivated to try to do that. Jeremy Kugler's had a lot of good results in the past couple of years in the roads, and he mixes up quite a bit. He's out of London with the Bandit crew. Usually he's here with a bunch of his teammates, the likes of Phil Perot-Miga and Mike Tate, Connor Black. It looks like he's riding solo this week, but he'll be representing the London crew well. Melindy just keeps on trucking here, Donna.
She does.
She looks unstoppable.
I would love to get a split between first and second to see if we can possibly track that down.
Yeah, I'm not even concerned. I'm not sure how concerned she is with second place. She's obviously pushing it for her own, for her own fitness test here, and to see what she can do. If she was racing, she would have probably played a bit more tactical. Hopefully, she's looking at the tangents here. Melindy's, a veteran. She raced the 1500 at the 2004 Olympics. She raced the marathon. She was top 10 at the marathon at the 2020 Olympics. She has a lot of experience. You can just see if you look down this road, you can just see how much it winds, and you always just want to look ahead 300 or 400 meters and take the straightest line, and not just follow. You'll see some runners, they just follow that yellow line in the middle of the road, and if you do that, you're going to add on quite a bit of distance.
So the 6K split for Melindy is 3:17, and we also have the men's 2K split is a 2:50 for Rory, Ben, and Jeremy.
All right, so they've picked it up a little bit. The women's, the first split was a bit slower, and then everything else has been quite fast. And so since the first split, that would have been Melindy's slowest split there at 3:17. Not too surprising this far into the race, running solo. Although it's not hot tonight, 18 degrees isn't ideal, so you are gonna start feeling the heat a little bit, just because it's 10K and it's on the roads and you're running hard. So ideally it would be more like a 12, 10 to 12 degrees. That would be a bit more comfortable. But honestly, with the temperatures we've seen in past years, 18 degrees is, you'd say yes to that anytime it's offered Ottawa Race Weekend on the 10K. So here we go. We have a clear pack of three now in the men's race. They've distanced themselves. I can see Dylan, Alec there in the back. But Jeremy has been happy to not do any leading. And if I was Jeremy and up against a future two Olympians going to Paris, I wouldn't feel any pressure to leading either. So good for him. Ben seems happy to do the leading, and like I said, Rory is really motivated to get Canadian Championship. So more so than a time, Rory wants the win, and he's going to play that tactically, and that might mean not leading as well. And hence why you have Ben Flanagan doing the boatload of the work here. I ran into Ben as he was walking over to start his warm-up, and he wanted me to remind everybody it's the camera angle that makes him look short. He's actually 6 feet tall.
Okay, so we did get confirmation that second place is Cleo Boyd. They're just looking across the canal. Okay, so the men's 3K split is 2:45. So these guys are picking it up.
Okay, 2:45 is a very fast split for a 10K, and once again, if you were just looking at the race, you could probably tell that just by how much they've distanced themselves from the rest of the pack. You could barely see anybody behind them. It's probably just the camera angle. You can see a couple more runners in the screen, but they are way back now. These guys are hauling. Jeremy, this might 2:45K for Jeremy in a 10K is might be a little hot for him. So he's hanging tough and showing these guys that he's here to play. He was, I think, less than a second from Rory 3 weeks ago at the Canadian 10,000 meter championships on the track. So of course he's going to try to stick with Rory again and hopefully turn the tables on him.
And a 7K split for Melindy is 3:20.
3:20. So a little, it was her last three splits, I think, have been 3:15, 3:17, 3:20, which, not surprising that, like I said, it's getting a little bit slower, but, she has a massive lead. Sometimes, too, in these races, when you have this massive lead and you're feeling a little bit tired, you preemptively might want to slow down a little bit just in case someone does catch a flyer and starts gaining on you. You've held a little something back to push the pace if someone does get close and put them away, instead of just hanging on to that knife's edge and being susceptible to a late stage pass where you're completely tired. All right, so we're going to try to get you some more. We have some people on course giving us some updates, and we'll try to get you some more updates on the third, fourth, fifth place men and women. Cleo Boyd is in second place right now behind Melindy. So obviously we can still see the top three. They're running in a pack. Ben Flanagan trains in Ann Arbor, Michigan, with a very nice track club. Originally from Kitchener, is leading this race. We actually have an 8K split for Melindy. It's 26:15. So still a really good pace. Despite slowing down a few seconds the last few K, she's still running a very strong 10K. You can see Ben Flanagan, smart move. Jeremy's doing the same thing, grabbing a cup of water, throw it on your head. In a race like this, you're not gonna really you don't need to hydrate per se, but throwing water on your head will definitely cool you down. Just using the evaporative powers of that water on your skin will help you stay cool. The perceived heat it often starts slowing you down more than anything else. So smart move to just grab that water. You can tell it didn't really cost them anything. They're just grabbing it. They're still they don't break a stride. Throw it on their head, cool themselves down, stay cool for a hot pace. Jeremy's now a little bit ahead of Rory, so a little bit of mixing up there. But Ben's not relinquishing the lead. I think he feels comfortable just always being in the front there and making sure the pace doesn't get too slow.
And the 4K split for the men was 2:48, and for Melindy on the 8K it was 3:15. So she's picking it up again.
Yeah, so maybe Melindy's smelling the finish line, and when you get into the last few K of the race and the finish is coming up, you can gauge your effort a little bit more and start pouring it out, knowing that once you hit that finish line, it's done. You can stop, and your confidence rises as you get close to that finish line, and you can finish off at that pace. It's usually between 4K and 7K, or maybe 4K and 8K in a 10K race when those doubts start creeping in because the race has been super tough and you still have quite a ways to go. But as you're getting closer to the finish, you start feeling a lot better about your chances of maintaining that pace. And yeah, Melindy is getting quite near the finish now. The crowds are picking up, so she's getting a little bit more support. It's a little bit more exciting. She's probably checked over her shoulder a couple times just to make sure no one's sneaking up. If she would have done that a couple times, she'd see that she has a massive gap. And she's really just competing against herself here.
And speaking of gap, Ben is starting to put a gap on the other two guys.
Yeah, so this is right around the 5K mark. So Ben may have just used that uphill on the overpass. So right now, if you're looking at Ben, Jeremy, and Rory, they are actually above the canal right now. So they're kind of going perpendicular to it. They're going to make a turn and then swoop back onto the other side of the canal. So Ben used that hill to distance themselves from the other two, and now he's using the downhill to get that momentum going again. Smart move. If Rory and Jeremy might be looking at each other, thinking, let's work together and see if we can bridge this gap back up to Ben. It's definitely in their advantage to work together, but it even looks as though those guys are trying hard just to negate the gap that Ben's put on them. So maybe they're trying to not get dropped as hard as they can, but that distance is still spreading between.
And maybe there's a good chance Ben is going to break his own Canadian record.
You know what? It's very possible. The conditions are, they're not perfect, but they're not bad for a fast time. I was just surprised that if he was going to go for that record, I would have expected a faster split right off the bat. But maybe he knew if he was going to get if he was going to go for the record today, it would have been a solo pursuit from the gun. So maybe he sat around and used the energy from the other few guys, the other two guys really, and then back end load this race.
So his 5K split was 250, and Melindy's 9K split was 308. So she's definitely picking it up heading into the finish.
Yeah, we're working on a men's 5K split. I know we're giving you the K by K, but I haven't been doing the math in my head, and maybe the listeners haven't been either. So hopefully we'll get you a 5K split to give you an idea of what sort of pace Ben, Rory, and Jeremy are shooting for here. So yeah, Melindy is super close to the finish now. You can tell the crowds are like, they're picking up. This is the finish line crowd. You see the lead vehicle will probably pull off pretty soon, and it will just be Melindy versus the clock. You can see Cleo Boyd now in the background. She's got the white hat on. She's, it doesn't look that far away. And that's Natasha in third. So now you can see Natasha in third place. It looks like Lanny in fourth place.
So
yeah.
3 out of the 4 are Masters women.
So if you're a master and you show up to a Canadian championship and you're a good master and you have to go against 3 of the top 4 overall, that's a little unfair in Canadian women's running right now. So feel for them, because our Canadian women are doing really well, and our Canadian Masters women are doing extremely well. Very, very strong run.
And we have a men's 6K split of 252. So just slightly slower.
All right, so Melindy at 32, about 32.50 there. She was just a little bit off of her personal best. Her personal best is 32.40, so she's right there. I would say she's going to have to be very happy with that performance heading into marathon training block. Cleo Boyd crossing the line, second place, 33.12. Strong run from Cleo. And then Natasha holding on to a podium position. Great for Natasha, about 33.20. Great performance coming off of a Hamburg marathon. And Lanny Marchand, that's great. She's 33 about there. Like I said, hasn't raced that much in the last couple of years. Just getting back into it, the Houston Marathon, and a very strong performance. All 4 of those women should be really happy with. Okay, here's a bit of a surprise. So this is Steph Ryle from Hamilton. She's living in London, Ontario, and she's been training at the Bayfront Endurance Group. Okay, Salome was ahead there. Carolyn Pomerleau. All right, so we're back watching Ben Flanagan here. Continues to, he put in a big move right at 5K to distance himself, and he's slightly increased that gap since then in the last probably almost 2K now. So he's continuing to push the pace on these guys, but that one move was the I guess as long as he wins, probably like the winning move. He put a lot of distance on in a short period of time, and he's just slightly turning the screw now, looking for another Canadian championship win. It looks quite smooth. Like I said, he's training in Ann Arbor with a very nice track club, so he's got some good training partners. He's going to add another road race win to his resume here if all goes according to his plan and he keeps this pace up. Rory is going to be looking for another Canadian championship unless he can really put a huge kick in here. He looks like he's still battling tough with Jeremy Kugler. So Jeremy and Rory are still neck and neck, fighting for that. Right now, fighting for that silver medal. I mean, of course, there's still Probably about 8.5 minutes of racing left, so anything can happen, but Ben looks very much in control, and he's just motoring along here, checking over his shoulder, making sure that those guys aren't getting any closer.
And he just ran a 2:49 for the 7K split.
Yeah, so he's still flying. Those guys in second and third are still running very fast as well. So at the conclusion of these races, we'll put the results up on the screen, kind of show you, what the top 5 or top 10 look like. See where the likes of Elia, Brody, and Carolyn Pomerleau. So yeah, there we go. Melindy's the winner. Natasha Wodak there in third, and there we got Cleo Boyd back in the screen with the white hat. So yeah, the whole podium wearing hats today. You don't see that often in overcast days, but there we go. I guess it's the new thing. Yeah, Melindy going to the Olympics for the marathon, and Natasha almost made it in the marathon. Will be looking to do some more road races, and Cleo, who's already run 15:44 this year, will probably be doing some road races and track races as well. You may see some of these ladies at the Canadian Half Marathon Championships in Winnipeg in a few weeks' time. Yep. So we're back to Ben. We're 22 minutes into this men's race, and he's still tightening the screws on these guys. He's still opening up a gap little by little. Ben looks very strong. It's a little interesting when you think of Melindy using the 10K as speed work. Ben, who's probably going to go to the Olympics in the 5K this year, would be using this more as endurance work. And why not do it at a national championship in your nation's capital and make some prize money along the way, right? Like it's a fun weekend and a good place to do training and get paid $5,000 to do so, and potentially an extra $1,000 if you break the Canadian record, which Ben will have to break his own if he's going to get that extra payday today.
And his 8K split is 2:50, so he's pretty much holding steady. He looks very efficient.
Yeah, Ben is a very efficient runner. When he ran 13:04 indoors there in Boston, I tweeted that the marathoners just had a sigh of relief, because he really does look like he is a marathoner at heart. But he's still young, so no rushing up, and he still has plenty of speed. It would almost be a shame if he moved to the marathon this early and not explore the 5K. He gets to, run at the top level at the shorter distances, and the marathon will, not to put words in his mouth or anything, but I think he'll be strong in the marathon, and I'm sure he will be looking to move up in distance and probably in the next couple of years. But, I probably thought the same thing with Mohamed. He didn't win a marathon yet either, so we'll see. But yeah, looking very comfortable here. He hasn't even looked over his shoulder for a while, so he's just competing against himself, making sure this is an honest pace right to the finish line. It's a very straight race. Not too many turns, but you do like as you can see here in the last K and a half, you have a few turns. So you go once again, you go from one side of the canal to the other. But when you cross over the canal later in the race, it is not on an overpass. It's a pretty flat bridge, but it still adds a few turns in here, and then you just get a few windy roads into the lead up of the finish line. This is the same finish line you'll see tomorrow in the marathon and half marathon. It gets loud. It's a very electric finish area. good energy. Lots of people on the sidelines here racing tomorrow morning, and they're getting some inspiration and some excitement before their big adventure tomorrow morning. The marathon starts tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So tune back in to watch the Ottawa Marathon. We have some top international runners as well as some top Canadians. We have Rachel Hanna tomorrow in the marathon, as well as a young man, Sergio Villanueva, who is in the 10K tonight and is going to come back and run the marathon. He just won the Vancouver Marathon a few weeks ago, so he's had a busy schedule. So yeah, tune in to see them take on a stellar international class field. But here we see Ben just cruising it in
at a 2:40 pace for his 9-kilometer split, and Rory is in second place.
All right, so it sounds like Rory has potentially distanced themselves from Jeremy Kugler. Rory training at Flagstaff under the guidance of Ryan Hall. Ryan being an Olympic marathoner himself. I used to race against Ryan quite a bit, so he is great coach and good guy, and we'll be happy with Rory's run here. I'm guessing, even though he didn't get that Canadian Championship he wanted. He's up against Ben Flanagan here, who's absolutely crushing. Ben ran a really fast 10K at the Sound Running Festival in the past couple months here. So low 27s, which was one of the fastest 10,000 meter performances in Canadian history. Only people like Mohamed with the record and Cam Levins have run similar. So Ben is kind of in his class of his own right here in this race as far as the 10,000 meter, 10-kilometer distance is concerned. So no real surprise that he's going to be sharper than Rory, who's also gearing up for the Paris Olympic Marathon. So Ben's pouring it on.
Charging for the finish.
He, given maybe a bit of a slow start, he's coming in at a really fast time. He has only about 6 seconds left to get his Canadian record, and wow, he did it.
He did it.
It might be 28:09. So he may have just broken his Canadian record by 2 seconds. That's huge. The camera right now is on Jeremy Kugler, who is coming in for a huge road PB as well. Here comes Rory. So Rory's in second place here. A very strong run. Most years, a run like this is going to win you a Canadian championship. He just had to go up against literally the Canadian record performance. So that's just kind of bad luck. 28:40 for Rory is the type of performance that should win a Canadian championship. And Jeremy looks like he got roughed up out there. He's really finishing off to the side of the course on wobbly legs, but a sub 29 performance. Also, it's a very fast time. Like in many years, if you're running sub 29, you could be winning a Canadian championship. So a very good run for Jeremy Kugler. He's rewarded with a road PB. It looked like we had Robert coming in there from the Ottawa Lions. If we show the finish line a bit more.
And that actually looks like a PB for Rory as well. So he's ahead of PB in January in the half marathon, February the marathon, and today the 10K.
Yeah, it looks about like a 3-second PB there for Rory. It might be, I can't see the back. Maybe it's Thomas Nobbs, Jeremy Briand. I can't tell. Dylan Alec just crossed the line there. Still looking at sub 30-minute times. So Dylan right around his PB for the 10K today. So hopefully we see an official time soon for Rory, because we were just kind of looking at the clock. Looking at the clock as across the finish line, which is very, very unofficial. Just depending on where the screen graphic, where they start the screen graphic and whatnot. If he's broken it by 5 seconds, I'd be confident saying he got it. But looked like about 2 seconds. So we really need to wait for that official time to come in. Here's more. There's LaBeouf coming in and Blair Morgan. Some more runners coming in. Another shot of Ben. He looks happy. Looks like he's getting cheered. I'm trying to judge by the size of his smile if he's happy for the win, the prize money, and the record. Hard to say. I wish we had more. I'm going to tune into our unofficial WhatsApp chat. See if there comes Sergio. So we'll see what he has tomorrow in the marathon. He'll be running for the top Canadian position after a hard 10K tonight. There's Dylan Wykes just crossing the line right now. I'm going to assume he was the top master today. Good run for Dylan in about 31:20. His coach from Mile to Marathon a few seconds back, Jacob Cameron. So I don't know if Jacob was cheering for Dylan as they were going, but there's maybe a little battle within a battle there. Some more of the 10K runners coming in. These guys are looking at still sub 32-minute 10K time, so still running quite fast for the 10K. Yeah, it's showing on the app that Ben Flanagan's time is 28:09. So, funny enough, he didn't actually best my downhill time of 28:08. I could still hold on to that for a little longer. So here we go. The top three official women. We got Melindy Elmore, 32:50. Cleo Boyd, 33:12, and Natasha Wodak, 33:21. There's your top three. Of course, Melindy and Natasha being the top masters as well. That's Natasha Wodak. Might be just a typo in the graphic. I can assure your last name starts with a W. But yeah, great race for the three women there. That I believe is about a 10-second personal best for Cleo Boyd in 10K on the roads. So good for her. Strong showing here. And yeah, smiles all around for the top women. Great racing from them. Here we go. We got some Dundas Valley Track Club. Patrick McKenna just came in. Well, on your screen right now, we got John Gray with the Cool Set Go singlet and the shades there. We got some more runners coming in here. This is most of these athletes that you were just seeing weren't officially part of the Athletics Canada 10K champs, of course. With the men, had they been up there and Athletics Canada members, they would be a part of it. Here we go. So we got Ben Flanagan, 28:09. That is, so he was the co-record holder in the 10K with Cam Levins, and he has bested that record by 2 seconds. So congratulations to Ben Flanagan. Rory Linkletter, second place, 28:40, a small personal best for Rory on the roads, and Jeremy Kugler, 28:55. That is also a PB for Jeremy. So Jeremy and Rory were second place at the Canadian 10,000 meter championships on the track on May 11th. and now they are second and third again. Andrew Alexander winning the 10,000 meter championships, and Ben Flanagan winning the 10K tonight in Ottawa. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. That was the 2024 Tamarack Ottawa Race Weekend 10K presented by Otto's Ottawa, also part of the Athletics Canada 10K. Please join my co-host Donna. Donna Mader will be here with Rory Linkletter in the morning, 7 a.m. You guys are probably going a little bit earlier?
We are, and Marley Dickinson will be joining us as well.
And Marley Dickinson from Canadian Running, who is out there interviewing athletes on the course, will also be here in the studio calling the shots for the 2024 Ottawa Marathon tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. So thank you very much for tuning in, and good luck with your own racing and training.